am happy to be joined by Elise Reed, who will be making her UFC debut on July the 24th at UFC Vegas 32 when she meets Sijara Eubanks. Elise, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for you. This is a step up in competition. I know you're excited for it. First, before you just tell me, like, how did it all happen? Like, how did you find out? What were your reactions like? And were there any second thoughts about, am I going to take this or not? Because it was rather short notice.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, I was on military training, the day after the Hilarie Rose fight, and 4 days in there, we got a call that there was a 125 that we had to fill in for. We said yes, and then they had found somebody before that. So I was already ready to go because I still had a black eye, and I was saying yes to the 4 days after the Hilarie Rose fight. So we got the call. My manager calls me. I'm at work, of course, and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "Guess what?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "You're in." He's like, "I just need a verbal yes." I was like, "Yes." I didn't ask who the opponent was. I didn't ask what the weight was. I didn't know anything other than that we have a match and we're just gonna make it happen. So when they told me that it was Eubanks, obviously I have watched her myself, because she's been in the UFC for some time at this point. So it was a surprise because I didn't know that she's a 135 and she's coming down to 125 for this fight, but we were stoked. I mean, I called my manager and then I told my coach, I was like, "Hey, by the way, we're going to Vegas, so let's get it going." And that was training that afternoon. So not too quick. I was expecting it to be a quick fill-in, so at least I have some time to get myself ready to go here.
Well, congratulations. I know this is just the beginning of all of the goals that you have for yourself here moving forward. What was the overall emotions like when you found out? Did it take a while to hit you, or were you just kind of on cloud nine right from the jump?
I mean, you get really excited because you get to say now that you're, my coach is a UFC coach. I mean, I haven't done it yet, right? But the contract was signed the next day, and so going into training camp is a little bit different when you have that. You realize that now you're on that echelon that you wanted for so long, and it's been a journey since 2013. So it's not like we haven't talked about it. It's different when it's like, okay, here we are, and I know from my perspective, I'm 4 fights into my pro career, and 3 of them were title fights, and I've already been going 100 miles an hour the whole time anyways. So not necessarily super surprised, but I think we're still keeping our eye focused on the opponent, understanding that training comes first. I think the fun is going to be where I get to get all that UFC swag and have my name on my shorts and stuff. I think that was pretty cool. I remember the Bellator fight was the same thing. Mr. K had a little bit of FOMO because his wife was with me for the weigh-ins, and I'm Snapchatting him the pictures of the shorts with the Bellator logo on it. I'm wearing Bellator gloves. I was like, oh man. So UFC is going to be much more, exciting, and I think it's really going to hit me when I start putting on all the gear, and I realize like it's happening. We're flying out to Vegas to go fight for the UFC against a veteran of the sport. So
is this a 3-fight deal that you signed? 4.
Yeah.
4 okay, even better. And as far as the swag goes, what do you think of them new Venom kits? Like, they look pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, so I have worn Hayabusa stuff just because for a female, it's really hard to find shorts that aren't either pink or super tight or just they fit weird. And Hayabusa has those kickboxing ones, which is nice. I like Venom. I've worn Venom gear before, and so I do appreciate their cut and how their material. So I think it's fine. I mean, it makes more sense having a Venom fight gear than it does Reebok in terms of MMA, but I'm really excited about the name on the side of the shorts. So I could be wearing any type of short as long as my name's on the side. I'm good.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, and look at you. You haven't even made your official debut yet, and you're already a company woman. You're saying the right thing. So that's going to make you go far with Dana and the UFC brass moving forward. Now, I got to ask you too, Elise. I mean, with all the things that you have to do for your military obligations, it's kind of like you're in camp nonstop anyways, right? Because you have to work out when you're out there doing that as well. So, I mean, how does your body adjust with the varying degrees of workouts that you do with MMA training and then your military obligations?
I mean, I think it matches really well. While I was in training there, I didn't, the one thing that I will say is when we're doing military training and it's military 24/7, and so I don't necessarily have the ability to make sure that I say like, hey, by the way, sir, I need to go to the gym for 3 hours and make sure I get a solid lift in and get my training in. So we adjusted a little bit. We did a lot of bodyweight stuff while I was doing training this past summer, but it matches. And honestly, the military changed their physical fitness test to where there's deadlifts and now there's arm hangs and there's more shuttle sprints. So if anything, now it caters more to my training than anything else. But yeah, I have no off days. I have no off season. I'm ready to go all day long. And it's funny that you mentioned that because obviously with the UFC now we're into USADA, and I've had all those onboardings in terms of things to eat, not to eat. I've been taking piss tests since I was, in the Army 6 years ago. So it's a little different when they're going to be knocking on my door. But no, I'm grateful that I'm already used to kind of that regimen and that format in terms of how we go forward, and I think it just complements each other. And they've been really supportive, in all honesty. I have training this weekend, and with the UFC fight obviously coming so close, I reached out to them and said, hey, this is a big opportunity. Can I push that to another day? And they were more than happy to, and I think they're going to have a watch party. So very grateful to have supportive Army personnel on my team, but no, it always makes it a disaster, which is why I'm here today.
Well, we're a little over 2 weeks out from the fight night. So just run me through, I guess, what your schedule is going to be like before you have to leave for Vegas, which I'm sure you have to be out there, I would say, about a week early, right, for all the media obligations and everything else you have to do. Yeah,
we'll fly out. I think the 20th is when our flight is booked. Until then, we're training every day. It's a little different. Obviously, I'm normally at 115er, and I'm fighting at 125. So the only real difference is I'm eating a lot. And I'm making sure that I'm, staying where I'm at right now. But other than that, it's, we got the notice, 3 weeks out. And I was talking to my trainer who does my conditioning. I had just gotten off a fight. I was still training while I was in the military. So with 3 weeks, there really is little that you can do in terms of conditioning. I'm not going to get huge strides there, and I'm not going to put on a huge pile of mass. So it's really about, enforcing our game plan and making sure that we're ready to go for what she brings. And that's it. It's pretty much training every day and making sure that I'm eating twice the amount that I'm training. So I have the best fight camp I think I've ever had. I don't have to worry about anything other than just throwing punches and getting ready to go. So.
Geez, it's got to be nice to eat some carbs, huh? And not have to worry about that quite as much.
I literally have a bowl of pasta right next to me. So yeah, no, I mean, it's a good problem to have when you're getting ready for a fight is making sure that you're just eating enough. So no, we're excited. We're stoked. We think it's a good matchup as much as it is a veteran of the sport. My coach gets excited when there's a little bit of a challenge. So he's excited about this one.
How different would your answer have been, or at all? Maybe it wouldn't be different at all if this fight would have been at 115 pounds. Would that have been too short of a time period for you to make that extra 10-pound cut?
No. I saw Paul Felder at one of the CFFC events when I was watching Hilarie Rose, actually, and I want to say that was April, right? April 3rd. And I asked him stuff, and he's like, kind of what he said for his retirement. He was like, as long as you can stay close to that line of where you're at, then you're good to go. So I'm fortunate that I, again, am training 24/7. I don't really take time off in terms of working out, maybe mentally a little bit, but in terms of working out and staying in shape. If they told me tomorrow that I need to make 115, you best believe I'd make it happen. I'm all about taking advantage of opportunities, and so I just get to eat more this time around. So that's the only real difference.
Very good. Well, I got to ask, how, I think I already know the answer to this, but how good was CFFC to just basically let you out? And you obviously have to relinquish the title now. You're going to be in the UFC. What was that like? I'm sure they were very happy for you to get another fighter like yourself onto the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think and I think Rob Haydock would disagree with me at this point because I think I'm in his favor right now. But I think initially when I first went into CFFC, that was the intent for Jasmine, and she obviously now has a contender spot. I think CFFC is a great organization, very well run, especially considering other professional leagues. That it's pretty high class, pretty professional. So they're always trying to look for bringing people up to the next league, whether it's Bellator or UFC. Obviously, UFC is the biggest one, and they're huge proponents of that because that's what they get to say is now they have so many fighters in the UFC. So as soon as that Hilarie Rose fight happened, I'm telling you, CM Punk, John Morgan, Rob, they were all saying the same thing about, like, okay, you've done it. Let's try to get you where you need to be now. So I can't say enough about him. I'm sure I came in there and wrecked their day when, again, he might disagree with me, but I'm pretty sure I wrecked their day when I took it from Jasmine and I got that title. But no, at this point, they're fans or the supporters. I wouldn't say they're fans. They're supporters. So they're happy for me.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to show up and rep CFFC well so that they can brag about me later.
Absolutely. I have no doubt that they're big supporters and fans of you, even before the Jasmine fight. But I got to talk about like your confidence right now, because I imagine it's got to be at an all-time high. You go in there, you upset Jasmine Jasudavicius, you get a win there. Then you go and you beat Jillian DeCourcy. Now you go in and you finish Hilarie Rose, who was right on the doorstep of the UFC. Your confidence has got to be pretty high right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to talk about it, and it's another thing for it to happen, and then it's another thing to watch all of it unfold in front of you, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Obviously, I have been a huge proponent of you're only as good as your last fight, and I already have my next one set up. So in terms of right now, my job is to make sure that I stay in the UFC and put a mark on it and make sure that, it's not me there to feed to Eubanks. But no, I mean, again, it's weird, right? Because I'm talking a big game. I know how good I am. And then, I get to go against these great contenders and good fighters. And I get to put up a show that not many people did. And so I think the biggest one was probably that last Hilarie Rose fight where I knew that she had been beaten by Buys, who's in the UFC now and doing good things. And I was like, okay, so I got to finish. I was like, so where are we at? And now it's here. So now my focus is just to make sure that I do what I can to make my stay in the UFC as impactful as possible. So, yes, I would agree. I do know that I have 4 fights, though, and that I have a lot of stuff to prove. I told CM Punk in the last interview that I have a chip on my shoulder, and I think that's just because, that's how I go into these fights. I'm an underdog in this one as well. So, yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited to see how I develop and put on a show for the UFC now.
Do you feel like you should be an underdog? Because she's 6-6. I mean, granted, she's been around. She's a veteran of the sport. She's a name that people know. But, I mean, your record is better than hers. Do you feel like, maybe it should be a little bit closer?
I don't mind being an underdog. I think I go into it regardless of whether I was a favorite or not with the intent to show up and expect her best and beat her anyways. And that's with all the opponents. So I'm sure at some point we'll have this conversation. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm the favorite. I'm coming in and I'm going to be doing my thing. But I like to stay to where I am only as good as my last fight, and this is the next fight. And whether it's a favorite or underdog, I got to go in there and take it. So that's probably what I was drawn to MMA in the first place, right? 2 people walk into the ring and 1 person gets their hand raised. So yeah, I mean, she's fought some good people though, and I think that's probably what makes the difference is the caliber of fighters that she's fought versus me. And we'll see what happens on the 24th. I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I'm excited to be lined right up to my TV up here watching you. So we'll dive into that here in a second. But first, I got to talk to you about the Hilarie Rose win. I didn't get a chance to speak to you before that fight, and you really went in there and you looked fantastic against a dangerous opponent. What was your game plan going into that fight? And obviously with the outcome, are you as pleased as you could be with the result?
Yeah. Listen, Hilarie Rose, great fighter. I can't say enough about her. I mean, that was a fight where she caught me early in like a inverse triangle, and kudos to her because my brain was blue and she had it really, really tight and I was able to get out. But the game plan there, was that she's probably going to try stand-up, but eventually try to work to the cage, which is what she did. She ended up pressing to the cage. But she had really solid kicks. And I'd say the first round, I was kind of feeling her out a little bit, and she caught me a few times on my side. I was like, oh, I don't want to eat those again. I have a very good poker face when I fight, so that's what does myself and everybody else good, is it doesn't look like I'm that concerned. But I remember I ate 2 of them, and I was like, okay, we can't let that happen again. I like grimaced a little bit. I said, don't let that happen again. But no, she caught me early, or caught me towards the round. I was able to get out and get in a better position. And then after that first round, I realized her striking was really only playing off my right hand, like only off my right, and she didn't necessarily have other combinations set for what I was throwing. So I literally walked into my corner and I was like, hey, I got this. And he goes, I know you do. And I don't remember what he said after that, but then we went into the second round and we took it over. So, no, I've wanted to finish with elbows for a long time. I have a little bit of a bucket list in terms of what else I want to finish with. So I'm going to keep working them. But, yeah, those elbows were nasty.
Yeah. And they were nasty, and she definitely did look hurt. There was some people that said maybe the stoppage was a little too soon. Do you agree with that? Do you feel like, no, it was a good stoppage? It was really when it should have been.
Honestly, when I got towards that end of that round, she fell. I think I clipped her with a right, and then I'm now in her open guard. I'm throwing strikes down, and I was laying some strikes down. And I thought, okay, so maybe they're going to call it here. And then they did it, so I took a little bit of a break, and I started to punch again. And then she caught my hand, and then that's when I threw elbows. I mean, even if it were to go in the third round, I don't think it would have been different. I think I probably had done enough damage in the second to where we would have seen more of a polar opposite in terms of the third round. But, I mean, she get up to the UFC, I'm always ready to put it back. I'll fight her again. We'll go again. That
would be a fun run back. I'm sure a lot of people would like to see that.
Yeah.
Have you had like any time to do anything fun for yourself outside of just train MMA and work your job, or has it just been nonstop?
It's been pretty much nonstop. I mean, I was thinking about it a little bit. Pretty much April, we started training for the May fight, and then literally the day after, I'm on a plane to Army for 2 weeks. Then we have our testing, martial arts testing, and then the week after, we're called that we have this July 24th fight. So no, I have not had a time off. I don't mind it. I can go all day long, but I am gonna have a vacation after this one. Just a week. But no, I haven't necessarily stopped yet, and we don't plan on stopping until the 25th or 24th at like 7 p.m. After the fight's over.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, good for you. You deserve a vacation. I gotta get your I guess your pick on the main event through this Saturday, because this would be like a little mini vacation for me. I'm gonna kick back. I'm probably gonna order a pizza, maybe have a beer, and watch Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier get in there and throw down. So tell me, who wins and why?
So McGregor is a Class A act. He is Mystic Mac, right? He's the guy that's always said what was gonna happen and made it happen. I really like Poirier. I really like Nate Diaz when Nate Diaz fought McGregor. I also know that McGregor does really well at coming back from a loss. I mean, again, you look at the Nate Diaz, he always makes adjustments really quick. I would love to see Poirier win, but I think it's going to be a McGregor. I think McGregor's going to be able to come back. I think there's a lot on the line for him if he doesn't, right? Because now he could go back to Nate Diaz, but he wins, he gets a title shot. So I think he's probably coming in here with a mission to make this like a one and done, so that he goes home and shows everybody else that he's still got it. But I'd love Poirier to win, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be McGregor. What do you think?
I'm kind of on the same wavelength as I like both guys. I think Dustin outside of the cage is just a awesome human being, and I love his style inside the cage. I feel like it's gonna go one of two ways. Either Conor's going to hurt him and finish him early on before the second round is out, or if it gets into the third round, we've seen Conor's gas tank isn't the best, and I think Dustin will be able to turn it up and either maybe finish him late or win a decision. So, but it's funny, everyone seems to be split on this. It's really like a pick 'em fight, so I'm really excited for it. You're going to be able to watch it, right? You'll be able to kick back and watch it?
Yeah. No beer, likely no pizza, but yes, no, I will be watching the fight. We're going to have a nice little get together. No, it'll be exciting. So.
Good stuff. All right, let's talk about your opponent. UFC debut against Sijara Eubanks. She's 6-6. She's coming off a UD loss to Pani Kianzad and then Caitlin Vieira. She's got a couple wins over Roxanne Modaffari and Lauren Murphy. So some nice wins, quality wins right there. When you look at this matchup stylistically, how does it favor you?
Well, she's coming down and I'm coming up. So that's always a thing where, you know, you look at gas tank and people be on the stay with it. Again, as mentioned, I haven't really had to change anything that I'm doing. If anything, I'll be bigger gas tank because I really have barely a weight cut, right? Whereas she's probably going to be taking some lbs off in the last, 24 to 48 hours. I think stylistically, I think it's similar to most of them in terms of what I've seen is she's likely going to want to take me down. I'm going to want to stay up, and that's going to be the battle of range and who can close the distance or who can keep distance. I think the only difference is she does have a solid overhand right and likes to swing and swing for the fences. So that's going to be something else striking-wise that I have to be aware of. But other than that, it's funny, we talk about game plans and we're going through the situationals and all that stuff. And since day one, it's been the same game plan, try to take me down. And I've gotten better at defending it, so it's only going to get harder for other people. But I think that's just going to be it. We're adjusting little things, but primarily it's keeping range and doing my thing striking-wise.
Do you believe this fight goes into the third round or maybe the distance, or do you feel like you can get a finish potentially early here?
Oh, I mean, I would love a finish. I always work for a finish. We'll see. I don't ever plan on going to decision. I've been grateful that some of the decisions have gone my way, or most of the decisions have gone my way recently, but I don't like them. So we're working on strategy to capitalize and hopefully get some highlights. We're, again, like I said, I always have a bucket list. Regardless of who's fighting across from me, I'm always going to try to be working my bucket list. So I'd love a finish. I'm working for a finish, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm open to what is provided in front of me.
Okay, sounds good. Well, if you do win and you win in impressive fashion and maybe you get a performance of the night, what would you do with that $50K?
Oh, goodness. We're really manifesting a lot here, aren't we? Probably nothing much. Honestly, I don't think very much. Mr. K and I have joked about winning the lottery, and that would probably be close to it. A performance of the night, a little $50K, and pretty much I just take a nice vacation, I think is what it would be. But if you have any good insights of what I could use it for, you let me know, and I'll make sure I put something out there. But God, that would be $50K, July 24th, it's mine. No, we'll see. I would love to, but I don't have anything necessarily. I should create a bucket list for that, right? Finish bucket list and performance splurges, so to speak.
There you go. You manifest it into your reality. So it all starts July 24th at UFC Vegas 32. Elise Reed, Sijara Eubanks. Can't wait for this one, Elise. I always appreciate you taking a few minutes to join me. Before I do let you go, tell people where to follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. So I recently changed my handle, unfortunately, to Elise Reed MMA. Wanted to be official for the UFC. So it's no longer Racing the Rufus, but Elise Reed MMA. And John Canabay, my coach, Kickside Martial Arts. That's it. My team is there. So that's all we got. We're just putting in work, trying to get another W.